Hello and welcome to this episode of Point Counterpoint. We are here to discuss and deliberate, as always, issues that concern Goa and Goans, but this particular issue is one of the heart and of sentiments of all Goans across all faiths. We all know the turmoil that has happened in the past 5 or 10 days, where people are on the streets, and we will not aggravate matters by repeating what has been said. That can probably come up during the discussion, but suffice to say, when the talk is about DNAs, let us establish one thing very clearly. It needs no further establishment, but we need to underline it again, is that the communal harmony which is there in Goa is a part of Goa's DNA. Goa is all about the harmonious coexistence of different communities. We are extremely proud of that, and this is something that is known and established over the world, where these are matters of the heart, these are matters of togetherness and amity, which needs no further, it doesn't need a certificate, nor does it need any aspersion or casting of doubts to that. I'll straight away come to a set of very esteemed panelists who are here with us today to essentially pinpoint and let people know, lest it be forgotten or skipped in our memory, examples of how Goa and Goans across communities have not just lived together for the sake of it, but because it is a part of their lives and livelihoods and living in a manner that is absolutely seamless. It needs no effort, it needs no certificate, it needs no validation. And I think that is the greatest strength that we have. And more importantly, Goans have always given this response to anybody who's tried to break this, that no merchant of hate from any community can divide Goans or create a fissure in society. We have with us Father Victor Ferrao, a visiting professor of the Rashal Seminary, a very eminent writer, scholar, and we are privileged to have him with us. Professor Dr. Manoj Kamath is the principal of the SS Dempo College in Bamboli. Again, a very prolific writer, educationist, and scholar. Prashant Naik, of course, though he is the chairman of BAG, but also has been very much a part of community life, established communal harmony movements. And he is somebody who is always re-established and underlined Goa's secular credentials in a manner that is very, very clear. I will start with you, Prashant Bab. Okay. Because of the organization that you have, Goenkar Ekpar Ekarachi, where you very clearly, through that movement and otherwise, established that, look, Goans don't need any certificate of harmony and unity.
Yeah. आमची एक धालांची पद आसा, धालो यू नो, इट्स अ ट्रेडिशनल फोक ऑफ गोवा. रथा तुज्यो गुडियो 350 बडियो, रथात कोण देव बसे गे, रथात बसे शांता दुर्गा, जन लोकां दिसे गे. हो हिंदूचो धालो. आता क्रिस्तावाचो धालो पळय. रथा तुज्यो गुडियो 350 बडियो, रथात कोण देव बसे गे, रथात बसे सायबीण माय. शांतादुर्गा बिकम सायबीण माय ओवर हियर. रथात बसे सायबीण माय, जन लोका दिसे गे, जन लोका दिसे गे. दिस इज अवर ट्रेडिशन. ही आमची परंपरा.
राईट.
आणि म्हाका दिसता ही 1 आणि 2 वर्सांची न्ही, शेकड्यांनी वर्सांची ही परंपरा, ट्रेडिशन of सामके अशे एकठांय जे.
And what is important is that somebody like Tony Fernandez is one of the prominent people who always stands there to receive.
For शांतादुर्गा रिसीव करपा खातीर. फातर्प्या हांव एक्सटेंड करता, फातर्प्या जात्रेक.
करेक्ट.
फातर्पेकांच्या भेटी जर 1000 लोक आसा जर जायत,
करेक्ट,
जाल्यार 700 हिंदू आसतले आनी 300 क्रिस्तांव भाव आसात.
राईट राईट.
आणि सेंट फ्रांसीस झेवियराच्या फेस्ताक,
करेक्ट,
ओल्ड गोवा,
करेक्ट,
जर 1000 लोक लायनी आहा जर जायत, जाल्यार 700 क्रिस्तांव आसा आनी 300 हिंदू भाव आसतात.
करेक्ट.
हे आमचें ट्रेडिशन.
करेक्ट.
सो आय फील दॅट की गोंया भितर तुका आमचे जो सद्भाव आसा, आमचे भितर जो एकचार आसा पळय, तेका अशें कोणी वेलिंकर कोण आयले तो कसोच फुटपाक शकपाचो ना.
मनोज भाऊ,
Very much true. See, in last 500 years or before 500 years,
Yes.
Goa was not a divided society. We were all one. Circumstances separated us. But that separation, even if it was physical, now at an emotional level, there was no separation at all. See, we commonly fought with the Portuguese. Who fought with the Portuguese? It is Hindus and the Christians together fought with the Portuguese. Even before Portuguese came, there was Adil Shah Raj here. There were Muslims who were born and brought up in Goa. And today Muslims, Christians and Hindus coexist. And we don't require anyone's endorsement for this coexist. Prashant Bab gave a good example of Patarpet. Take an example of Mapsa Milagre Sahibin. For the Milagre Sahibin जे फेस्ट जेन्ना जाता तेन्ना मिलाग्री सायबीण एक तेल शिरगांवच्या जात्रे कडल्यान
लयराईचे.
आणि लयराईच्या जात्रेक वेळार शिरगांव म्हापश्याच्यान फातयो वता आबोल्याचे झेले वता. So this is the harmony. So here we don't distinguish between who is Hindu and who is Christian. And for 500 years, if we have coexisted, fought with colonialism, fought with others who were outsiders, and then driven them, small issues like this, though some may try to do their best, we are not going to get divided.
Father.
I also endorse this sense that we have Goenkarpon and we are all always one. I have seen my own experience. I also am a parish priest, and that is also St. Francis Xavier Church in Boring. On the feast, I finish my mass and others, everything is over, and I'm about to go on top. There begins families and families of Hindus who come to pray, to give their homage, and it goes up to 9 o'clock. People come in car and keep on coming.
Right.
For me, this is what we are. Our people also feel it is their feast. Our Borekas from the village,
Right.
they also feel
The same
something
thing.
has happened.
Correct.
So we can feel the pulse of unity visible during this type of moments, and we
Right.
help each other when there are crises.
Further, in your book, Being a Goan Christian, which you wrote, there's a point that you had made. Of course, the context was a little different. You reacted to a particular speech of Parikar, I think that time. But when you actually said, and your book is called Being the Goan Christian, the Politics of Identity, Rift and Synthesis. And you have said that there is a simultaneous suggestion that the Goan Catholic cultural element is not compatible with the Goan and Indian identity. This is aspersion that sometimes is being cast. The issue here is that question itself should not arise because the people themselves have answered this question.
Yeah, so they somehow, Goa and Goanness, vis-a-vis what you call Indianness,
Yes.
Sometimes comes across as if it is little hybridized type. There is little Western, little Indian, and that has come into a Goan. So, because we were culturally insulated from Mother India for quite some time,
Right.
400 years,
Correct.
it's not easy.
Correct.
And also we had a direct Western experience.
Yes.
So and the colonization of the Portuguese was totally different from the colonization of other Europeans.
Yes, the British. yeah.
British.
Yeah.
So we cannot see things with the same prism. And therefore, in that context, when Goanness or Goenkar Kristampon was reduced to as if non-Indian, I reacted to that.
Correct. Yes. Correct.
We are certainly Indian.
Right.
And even embracing the West, I look at it by mimicking the aggressor, I defeat the aggressor.
Right. Right.
My imitation is a resistance.
Right. Right.
So I become what I want to fight.
Right. Right.
That is also possible.
Possible. Correct. Correct.
फादर तू म्हणतो पळय न्ही की इंडियननेस प्रूव करची पडटा म्हण गोंयच्या क्रिस्तावांक म्हाका दिसता ती जगा प्रूव जाल्ली आसा तुम्ही इंडियन म्हण डिफेन्स फोर्सांक गोंयकार कोण आसात You take entire defense force of India's defense force. कोणी सर्व केलं रे डिफेन्स फोर्साक? तुका 100 जर डिफेन्स फोर्स जर जायत 95 Catholic आहात तातूंत भितर have gone to the highest positions in defense. So nobody can say that की गोंयकार क्रिस्तांव एंटी नॅशनल, गोंयकार क्रिस्तांव हें अशें कोण म्हणपाक शकना. आनी म्हणटा तो पिसो कित्याक तेका गोंय म्हणटा कितें तें खबर ना. गोंयच्या लोकांचे कॉन्ट्रिब्युशन आतां मनोज बाबान सांगलें की फ्रिडम स्ट्रगला भितर गोंयच्या 3 कडच्यान जेन्ना सत्याग्रही आयले तिनी लिडरशीप केल्ली क्रिस्तांवांनी. एंथनी डिसोजा आशिल्लो, आल्फ्रेड आफन्स आशिल्लो, अशे 3 जाण क्रिस्तांव भावांनी आमच्या तिनी सत्याग्रहीचे नेतृत्व केले. सो हे कोण जे एरा गबाळ्या म्हणटा तांकां हे उलयता पळय न्ही गोंयचो क्रिस्तांव नॅशनलिस्ट न्ही म्हण, the defense presence of Goan Catholic is a fitting reply. ताजे वयर आनी कांय जवाब ना.
Absolutely correct. One more quick point I wanted to see. The issue is intellectual scholars like you, most people understand this, and the point is that the Catholic Hindu amity is played out very seamlessly in different homes during festivals, and you were also very nicely mentioning that often Hindu people leave their homes and go away. You have Catholics who are caring for the Ganesh. So, those examples can come up. What I'm trying to understand is, when this is there, why does the political class still feel that they can extract some kind of political capital or communal capital out of this?
Well, it is their business.
Yeah.
See, they are into business of politics. And for business to grow, you require different strategies. One of the best strategy, which is no cost, but all profit strategies, divide and rule. And it has been seen right from times memorial that once you are able to divide, and then religion and caste are easy cards to play at all times. And then people get emotional, people make statements out of the way, and then people react and people overreact. And I feel the same aspersions are here. Same thing has been mirrored here in this case as well. There was no need for all of us, to give special attention to such kind of statements, because today is X and tomorrow there will be Y, etc. We must raise our bar and think beyond this.
Correct.
And try to ignore such kind of an elements, because every time you give attention to such kind of statements, we create more muddle in the.
But Father, I'll again rephrase this question. See, what happens is that in every election, I mean, the harmony is very well established. Nobody needs any certificate. But still, it still becomes a political factor in every constituency during elections. You cannot ignore the fact that politicians look at this divide and plan strategies, along these lines.
Yeah, I feel India uses fear as a motivation, politically and also through industry. Fear actually is an industry. If you look at it the way it is now, today's capital uses capitalist system using fear. Tomorrow I may become sick, therefore I need insurance, or I need a big bank balance. Fear actually controls my today. Tomorrow is almost cancelled. Politically also, if you can bring fear in any community, that community will rally with you. This is actually India and other places too now, because fear has become an industry. Fear is also motivation for the politicians to use in politics.
I know there's a particular statement being often repeated, which I know you're repeating, the whole thing of khatra. The issue of khatra politics is something.
पण म्हाका दिसता गोंया भितर हो कन्सेप्ट मातसो आतांशा चड आयला. अर्लियर इट वॉज नॉट देर एट ऑल. ना जाल्यार तुका मांद्रे मतदारसंघ, विच इज अराउंड 85% हिंदू और 80% हिंदू, थंय पयलो आमदार आमगेलो वो एंथनी डिसोजा.
Correct.
तो एंथनी डिसोजा, टोनी फर्नांडीस, it was one of them who became minister in Bandurkar's cabinet.
Okay.
While Kurchadar, where the Muslim population is hardly 3 or 4% or 5%, Razak became the MLA of Kurchare. So आमची परंपरा ही की that time त्या वेळाचेर वो जात धर्म इश्यूज येनाशिल्लो कोणाक, सामके आमी सामके क्लीन आशिल्ले. बट विथ द नॅशनल पॉलिटिक्स, आनी तेन्ना आमी MG आनी UG न्ही, आमी नॅशनल पार्टी खंयच्यो नाशिल्ल्यो. सो आमकां हें देशान जें कितें चट्ट लागता पळय, दॅट वी वर नॉट टच्ड बाय इट. बट नाव विथ द ह्यो पार्टी जश्यो आयल्यो गोंया भितर, तांणी ही सगळी कीड आमकां हाडली, आनी ताका लागून आतां करता वो मातसो दुरावो दुस्वास पेटयतात बट स्टील आय अप्रिशिएट दॅट की गोंया भितर अजून पर्यंत तुका हिंदू डॉमिनेटेड मतदारसंघा भितर क्रिस्तांव निवडून येता अजून पर्यंत वायस वर्सा ऑल्सो हिंदू डॉमिनेटेड अशा कितल्या मतदारसंघा भितर अण्णा सरमळकर आयला बाणावले अण्णा सरमळकर आयलो श्रीपाद कुंकळकर आयला सांतांद्रे इजोर फर्नांडीस काणकोण आयला निलेश काब्राल तुगेलो हांगा येना आपल्या कुडचड्यार येना सो मेनी एग्जाम्पल्स आर देर सामके सो म्हाका दिसना की ओन्ली थिंग दीज पीपल आर ट्रायिंग बिकॉज दे डोंट वॉन्ट हे अशें जावपा नजो म्हण दे आर ट्रायिंग टू इन्फिल्ट्रेट लायक दीस अँड विशेड एनवायरमेंट so that they can reap benefits out of it.
In that context, Manoj Bab, how would you analyze the response of the people? Of course, there were angry protests, people took to the streets, there was all that. But overall, how do you analyze the way people reacted? Could it have been done a little differently? And what needs to be done to bring about calm and get back to normal business?
I believe people showed good amount of restraint.
I see, yes.
Even those people who are on the streets, obviously it was an obvious reaction and it was an automatic reaction. But people showed good restraint. Except for one or two minor incidences which can be dusted away. There were no major problems. And there was restraint from both the sides. This shows the maturity of the people, whether it is Catholics or whether, of course, Catholics had more, Christians had more reason to be a little more violent.
Hurt, yes.
And more reason to be hurt. But then the reactions what were seen was normal reaction. But nowhere did anybody cross the line.
What can I'll come to you, Father, just one more question. What can the political class or people who are kind of voted to rule or govern or serve rather, what lessons should they learn out of this and kind of recalibrate their thinking when it comes to these issues?
If I may be allowed to say,
sure.
More number than the Christians, Hindus were hurt with such kind of statements.
Right.
There are more Hindu friends of mine who said we did not like this. Okay, the context is different, but this is not the way one should react. If someone has faith in a particular system, in a particular person, let that person have. Who are we to object over it? Maximum you can stop your people from going there, but will people listen to you when they have an emotional connect? You don't. If I have been following some practices for generations, and that is what my mother, father, my grandfather has taught me, I would certainly follow that practice. And nobody will succeed in stopping me from doing that. One good lesson here is, even the politicians, only those politicians who were defeated were the ones who were trying to speak. But people made them shut up.
Right.
But those people who got elected were the people also to keep quiet. They were watching what was happening. And when they saw the movement is very, very strong, and the movement is getting momentum from all sides, nobody dared to talk. Did you see any particular Catholic MLA talking in favor or against? They didn't. Did you see any Hindu or Hindu propagandist talking and say against or for? No, they didn't. Because people were reacting. It was entirely in the hands of the people. Except for in Madgaon, the situation was getting a little politicized. But people again showed restraint. And then they said, okay, enough of this. Whatever is to be done, we will do it peacefully.
Father, what lessons can politicians learn out of this, after this episode that has happened?
First important lesson could be, do not play with sentiments and emotions of the people, particularly religious. It comes out in very, I am also sometimes amazed and I am not able to rationally process why people should take it so much to their heart. Saint Francis Xavier, good. I have great devotion to him. If he says, Tom or Dick says something, I should not be thinking that Saint Francis Xavier is becoming less. But that will be my rational way of seeing it.
Correct.
But people somehow identify, somehow reflexively relate, and they think what you say to Francis, you are saying to me. You see, there is a complex problem there. That's the reason I thought I accept some people on the street and expressing anger, disappointment. So this is what politician, if we are a stable society, we are peace-loving community, and you cannot ignite kind of a, politicians should not do this.
Right.
Nor politicians should try to use people's emotions
Right.
and ride on that back to garner votes or some kind of capital out of it.
Out of this. Prashant Bab, just a quick analysis. Do you feel that this was the comment was just off the cuff spontaneous and the reaction was spontaneous, or do you feel there was more to it than just a spontaneous outburst of
ना, एक म्हणल्यार कित्याक गोंया भितर नाव देर इज लॉट ऑफ रेजिस्टन्स कमिंग फॉर दीस मेगा प्रोजेक्ट्स, भुतानीज प्रोजेक्ट्स, लोधा प्रोजेक्ट आनी कोणाचे आनी एक वातावरण बिल्ड जातालें संपूर्ण गोंया भितर की अगेन्स्ट दीस ब्लॅटंट डिस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ एनवायरमेंट. सो मे बी दॅट की टू डायवर्ट अटेन्शन फ्रॉम देर हें एखादें केलं आसूं येता आनी ही बिकम सक्सेसफूल इन दॅट. आतां नोबडी टॉक्स अबाउट भुतानी अँड लोढा. For some time it has gone under the cover. See, again I want to make one more point here. की गोंयाक एक हिस्ट्री आसा. बाबरी मशिदी वेळाचेर संपूर्ण देश पेटलो. There was not a single state where there was no problem, barring Goa. गोंया भितर कांयच जालें ना.
ब्युटिफूल पॉइंट.
ताजे नंतर आनी एकदां जस्ट एक इमर्जिंग दंगल जातशी दिसली आमकां कुडचड्याक. इमिजिएटली वी इंटरवीन, वी स्टॉप्ड इट देर. सो हांगा तुका फाटली दिसा कितें स्टेटमेंट, नॉट ओनली दीस स्टेटमेंट, वॉट सुभाष वेलिंगकर मेड. This fellow Amshekar is on the record in Kankon saying that you boycott particular community while buying flowers and other things. Boycott a particular community. This is blatant violation. सुमोतो केस सोपा हेजेर ह्या देशा भितर तूं रावता. When you take that, when you are studying, तूं क्लासी आसतना एक pledge घेता, all Indians are my brothers and sisters. These people are uneducated. They have not studied the textbooks. जातूं भितर first page that pledge is there. All Indians are my brothers and sisters. And how can you say you don't buy from this fellow, you don't buy from that fellow? How can you say you don't wear topi, you don't wear this? हे खंयच्यान येवपाक शकता. And this is गोंया भितर वी हॅव नेवर हर्ड दिस टायप ऑफ थिंग. सो म्हाका दिसता इन अ वे ही रिएक्शन आयली पळय, इट वॉज अ स्ट्रॉंग सिग्नल टू ऑल द डिव्हिजिव्ह फोर्सीस, ऑल टायप ऑफ डिव्हिजिव्ह फोर्सीस. तुमी कितेंय जर अशें करशा जर जायत जाल्यार वी वील नॉट कीप क्वायट. गोंयकार वील नॉट कीप क्वायट. गोंयकार गोंयकारपणा बरोबर आसता.
But do you feel finally this message will go through to the politicians? Will it? You feel this time we have turned the tide and ultimately politicians are understanding this?
Politician should understand. पण तो शिकणं जर जायत न्ही जाल्यार तो हे जातलो, ही विल बी फेल्युअर. शिवोलच्या जागराक एक फेमस गाणें आसा, सायबिणीच्या हाती पान भांगराचे अशेंच चलू दी आमच्या भावा भावांचे. भावा भाव म्हळ्यार कॅथलीक आनी हिंदू. शिवोलच्या जागराक क्रिस्तांव लोक नाटक करता, ड्रामा, आनी हिंदू लोक तियात्र करता. सो हे जे ट्रेडिशन आपण हे सारखे डीपली रुटेड आसा. सो नो मॅटर कोण वेलिंगकर कोण असो ट्राय करपाक डिव्हिजिव्ह ट्राय करपाक लागलो, इवन पॉलिटिशियन्स, इट वील नॉट सर्वाइव्ह इन गोवा. आणि दिस इज अ क्लियर कट मेसेज टू ऑल द पॉलिटिशियन्स ऑफ ऑल डिफरंट हे की डोंट गोंयकारा कडेन तुम्ही खेळनाकात. गोंयकारा कडेन खेळप म्हळ्यार उज्या कडेन खेळप म्हणटा तेका. आनी उज्या कडेन खेळल्यार हात तूं भाजून घेता. यू बर्न युअर फिंगर्स वेन यू प्ले विथ फायर. सो दिस इज द लेसन फॉर पॉलिटिशियन्स. यू कॅनॉट एंटर दिस हे.
Manoj Bab, I think what we are finding, and through this discussion before that, is that the response of the people and the manner in which Goa has reacted and the lessons that we are drawing from, actually it gives us a lot of hope and a lot of happiness rather than any kind of dejection or fear.
Absolutely.
Because I think what this has proven is that this whole fear politics or fear psychosis will not work because of the deep roots that Prashant Bab and all of you all have spoken.
Yes, today if you look at the demographics and the changing demographics, we have more than 70% constituted by Hindus. All these newspapers, the majority of them are run by this particular community, this particular religion. Show me one newspaper which supported this incident.
Right.
Univocally, all newspapers, all editors, I'm really thankful, the social media, to a greater extent, oppose such kind of statements.
Correct.
They said, okay, but then I don't agree with Prashant saying that it was a deliberate attempt to what do you say?
No, he's saying he's indicating it could be.
Yeah, it could be.
But
but I'm very certain in saying it is not for a reason, because this particular agenda has been told. Now the kind of arguments which were put by this particular person. We have seen this, that it is going on for a number of years and then going out in a particular fashion. This time nobody gave him attention, so therefore there was more efforts made to gain some attention. Finally he got some traction, but it did not succeed. So if no Marathi newspaper till date, including the most radical ones, including the most vocal ones, didn't even support this, and on the contrary said that such kind of things Goa should not entertain, and Goans must not entertain. We are successful today.
Father, your views on this?
I also am quite happy the way this unfolded, because first I was a bit apprehensive. Will the Hindu brothers and sisters support us? Though I was not in Goa at that time, but I followed it up, and I followed it on TV, followed it on kind of
social media
and all that. And so what happens, to my great surprise, so many Hindu brothers and sisters were standing with Catholics while they were feeling aggrieved, and they were also saying, we are aggrieved, this is not Goa.
Correct.
This is what I appreciated, and I like. This is what we need to do, stand with each other. And now, if that was a diversionary tactic, we still have to be even more alert all the time, so that true Goa, good of Goa and Goans is always kept ahead. So in this, I would like to say, this kind of politics that is played, they look at a future as a singular future. Instead of that, can we look at future as plural?
Yes,
right,
Precisely.
Everyone has a future.
right.
Why you only want to make a future by putting someone down?
Correct. Absolutely.
Singular future for Goa? No. Plural future for Goa? Yes. And that is what Goan. If we write history as a singular history, again problem.
correct.
We have to write history in a plural.
Correct.
So this is, my Goa has been marching towards this type of open future.
Right.
And open future is a future for every Goan, without keeping anybody down.
Correct.
So I feel this point has brought us to this opening.
Yeah, absolutely. Manoj, do you think this kind of a refresher course is needed to be given to all politicians across parties maybe in some structured way?
No, but I think the youth is realizing this now.
Right.
Youth is realizing this, and we have seen in a lot of incidents now that youth is also showing restraint. Obviously, we have to learn from the history, but we should not allow the history to get repeated. Because any nation or any region which forgets the history will have to change its geography.
Right.
We know something wrong happened. We know that conversions happened. We know exodus happened. We know Inquisition was bad. But these are things of the past. These are not going to get repeated. Church has come up with a statement against what happened earlier. Nobody was in control, or we don't have in control about what were the things in the past, but we certainly can control what can happen today and what can happen tomorrow. We need to coexist because our relations, our businesses, our existence depends on each other.
Correct.
It cannot be led in
And
isolation.
this need is not out of any pressure. This need is out
of our need, because we are interdependent.
Correct. But also it is very seamless.
Yes.
In the sense we
And I
want to
believe,
do it. Yes, yes.
Goans understand this ethos,
Yes, correct.
and then we live for it.
Correct. Prasanna Babu, your just last comment
I
on this.
feel
Your
all
last-
those
Yes.
जे स्टेटमेंट केलो वेलिंगकारान आनी तेका जे सपोर्ट करपी आसा पळय न्ही तांकां चार कडेन व्हरपा जाय. एक म्हळ्यार शिवोली जागरा व्हरपाय तांकां, आनी दे शुड सी द हे कशें आहा ते. तांकां सुर्ला शिगम्या व्हरपा जाय.
Right.
सुर्लाचो शिगमो स्टार्ट जाता पळय न्ही, पयलीं वता पिरा भाऱ्यांक मुस्लिमाल्या, पिराक नमन करता येता आनी गांवां शिगमो भोंवता. सुर्ला इन साखळी सीएम्स कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सी, थंय पयलीं थंय वता. तांकां फातर्पेच्या जात्रे व्हरपाय, तांकां जांबावली भार येता पळय तेन्ना थंय व्हरपा जाय, हिंदू क्रिस्तांव युनिटी दाखोवपा खातीर. सो आय फील दॅट की हें एकच पळयल्या पुरतो न्ही, गोंयचें सारकें कल्चर आसा पळय, हें पळयलें जर जायत तांकां, म्हाका दिसना तांकां केन्ना दे वील डेअर की अशें कितें करपाचें म्हण. आनीक ज्या तरेन मनोजान सांगलां की गोंयची जनता आतां मॅच्युअर जाला, बरी रिस्पॉन्ड केला. ह्या खेपेक हांव सांगता गोंयची जनता जिखली. इन दीस होल एपिसोड The victory was of people of Goa, those who came unitedly on the streets. Sadly, I was out. हांव अखिल भारतीय कोंकणी परिशदेच्या प्रोग्रामा लागून एर्नाकुलम आनी कोची आशिल्लो आनी हांव तळमळटालो वॉट इज हॅपनिंग ओवर हियर. आय वूड बी डेफिनेटली ऑन द स्ट्रीट्स ऑफ मारगांव. थंय एक म्हणल्यार निशेध करपाक आनी दुसरें म्हणल्यार कितें जाता जाल्यार कंट्रोल करपाक. आय वूड हॅव बीन देर. आय मिस दीस. बट गोंयच्या जनतेक सलाम की द वे दे हॅव रिएक्टेड. आणि आय फील दॅट की हातूंतल्यान आमची एक युनिटी जी आहा पळय हिंदू मुस्लिम क्रिस्तांव ही अशीच अबाधीत परमनंट उरतली.
See, this discussion has proven at least one thing. Not that it needed any certificate, but it re-establishes one very, very clear thing. That Goa is in safe hands, and it is in safe hands not because of one or two people, but every Goan who lives here today, from any age, understands that this kind of unity, love, affection, and togetherness between different communities is something that is a part of their life and daily existence. And though there may be a felt need because of different factors like business, economy, and other things, but it goes beyond that. It is ingrained in the very, very culture of people, in the beautiful traditions, customs, religious functions that happen. And I feel that Goa is actually an advertisement for one of the greatest places on earth for unity and amity. And this is something that we should all be proud of and fight for it till the last drop of our blood. Thank you very much.